All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Soon Seti. Kick back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com online marketplace. Official General Sarah Soon Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts and hoodies for the kings and the queens. African and Kemetic jewelry fly. West Africa, East Africa. Medallions, earrings, bracelets, men's cuffs. We got cosmic talismans for the family too. We also got herbal tonics and remedies. Health is wealth, most definitely. Health is wealth. Wealth. Check us out. Herbal tonics and remedies. We also have home decor accessories for every room in the house: living room, dining room, kitchen, bathroom. We got you. And we have 20% off at this time. Do you hear what I just said? 20% off at this time. You can come enjoy yourself, check out our catalog, and get a discount, a big discount at the same time. All right, family. And pull the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com, SETI University. Over 900 videos on African history, heritage, spirituality, nation building, mental warfare, advanced African academics developing the Black nation one lesson at a time. The complete General Sarah Soon Seti website. You should join today and have access to over 900 nothing but fire video presentations. Nowhere on the planet where you can get that. You see, from the general. Believe it or not. That's right. Seti keep it popping on Patreon. BPC making noise. We never come. Exclusive live streams. Too hot to handle on YouTube. And just so exquisite. You understand that I'll reserve it for my Patreon family. That's right. We're going live tonight with some fire. Too hot for YouTube. That's right. We're going to be talking about the golem. We're going to be talking about the soulless man that wanders the planet, bringing death and destruction. The golem. Got to talk about it. Patreon tonight. Like I said, over 150 exclusive live streams. Too hot for YouTube, family. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid. Because I will ban your ass. You'll be up out of here, family. Quick. Boop. Gone. All right. Now, today we got a quadruple hitter. You see, we got some fire. Today we're going to be dealing first and foremost, because, you know, it's turning up out there on this military front. And, you know, we want to stay in tune to what's going on out there. You know, most people, you know, when they talk about, you know, warfare, especially with the U.S., they always act as, you know, we always look at it from one perspective. You see, the U.S. invading some other nation. That's how we look at it. But not too many times do we look at it as if another nation could invade the United States. You see, and so you have to in the art of warfare. You see, you got to make preparations for any possibility. You see, and when you see that with this this confrontations that's happening with the U.S. and Russia, U.S. and China, you see, and North Korea, Iran. You know, you got these groups out here. They talking big shit. Iran talking big shit right now. You see, North Korea talking big shit. You see, and so I see how that go. You know, when you push your little, when you push your little allies out there to say some shit that you really want to say, but you let them say it. You see, you let Iran and you let North Korea. Iran just issued a threat. What they talking about? They're gonna, they're gonna assassinate Donald Trump. You see, he's on the hit list. They talking about he was this Pompeo, the Secretary of State. Anybody that was in office at the time when the one guy got assassinated over there in Iran, they say they want some get back. You see, and they just issued some information where they have created a cruise missile. You see, that could touch Israel, and could touch even ships out in the Pacific. You see, the world war is going on right now. Family ass hollering, and I know what you're speaking about. You're speaking about just open, just open warfare, and it could be any day. It could be any day. You see, it could be any day now. You really don't know. You see, because but we understand that when there's a lot of saber rattling and a lot of things being said. Now, straight up, for real, we have to look at this shit from a real nigga perspective. You see, we do. We have to look at this shit from a real nigga perspective. And I say that in jest. You know what I'm saying? Because we just, when a motherfucker say, oh, I'ma assassinate somebody, you understand, on your team. Now I ain't saying they on my team, but I'm just speaking. I have to say, a lot of people, because we have we understand what happened to African people here. You see, so we our confrontation with the powers that be is in reference to the fact that you enslaved our people and shit, and you didn't committed genocide. You didn't use us as your workforce and your labor force. You decimated our character. You decimated all aspiration of greatness for our people and not in this country, but in general. You're taking us from our homeland and committed. And so we don't have to identify with you. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have to identify with you at all. We don't. Okay? But we are here. Okay? This is where we at. And so when a motherfucker start talking about launching shit over here, yes, I have a problem with that. I don't know about you other motherfucker. That me and I debate, about we can have that. We can continue to have that. You understand? That don't change shit. We want ours. You understand? We sick of how you motherfuckers treat us over here too. And then soon as it's time, that's why, as I said, that's why we need to get the fuck on. Because we're gonna always be in a fucked up predicament. You understand what I'm saying? A having to, for whatever purpose, you understand, to, form some, a loose unity. You see, in order, because our babies is here. You see, our families is here. You see, and so we are in a nation that have committed all type of genocide, and people, people won't. So they want to talk get back. That's all. Let's deal with it. They want some form of get back. You see, and when you understand in power, you understand. Thank you, family. Thank you, Winsome. That's right. Let me get that brother a shout out. I appreciate you, brother. You see, that brother, he shows support for me, you know what I'm saying? And, and I want to, show him some support. Thank you, brother, for coming in here, as you always do. You know what I'm saying? And throw up the peace sign to you and yours, brother. I wish you prosperity and you understand and blessings on you and your family. Okay. And so, you got other peoples out here that won't get back. You see, they won't get back. And so, and shit, we want ours. We want ours. But you know what I'm saying? We have to understand that at this time, we are tied to the land. We're tied to the land, and that's real talk. And so when motherfuckers, but when motherfuckers start talking about launching some shit over here, then that's where we have to say, yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying? And so Iran talking about, sending some attacking peoples and shit, and this, that, and the third. And I don't agree, with nothing. That fucking Donald Trump and shit and this, that, and the third. But for motherfuckers because they not separating you from the United States. They not. And that's why Marcus Garvey told us to get our shit together and separate. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're gonna be in these types of positions. You see, where we ain't gonna want no motherfucker to launch nothing over here. You see, I don't. You see, I don't. Not no. I'm not in no agreement with that at all. You see what I'm saying? You got, that's just carelessness and shit, on our behalf. So as long as my people are here, we must do what's necessary for survival. You see what I'm saying? And so if the United States, you understand what I'm saying? Where will we go on the continent to rebuild? If they launch some motherfucking missiles over here, you ain't gonna go nowhere on this motherfucker, on this continent. You understand what I'm saying? Shit, you gotta talk. We talking real talk today, you see? And so, when we talk about can, China invade the U.S. Now, that was something that, because we throw that out there because we want minds to understand, what's going on out here. You understand what I'm saying? You are never going to get somebody to talk about, just one way where one motherfucker can run up into another man's house and nobody talk about somebody running up in your motherfucking house. Do I believe China can come in? No, I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, number one, they have a navy powerful enough to move the type of army that they would need to come into the United States of America. I don't believe that at all. And nobody else believes it. You understand what I'm saying? Because one thing about, the United States, the fucking population is as strapped as the goddamn military. You see? That's why when you see motherfuckers doing all type of crazy shit out there, they ain't running up in there with no goddamn 22 rifle. Them motherfuckers running up in there with assault rifles and shit. You see what I'm saying? So when you think about, I believe that was a strategy, you know what I'm saying, for the powers to be, that America, to be as strapped as it is. You understand? But the thing that go along with that, you got a lot of sick ass people out here. You understand what I'm saying? And that just, it goes back to the very origins of this country. A lot of people think that, it just popped, motherfuckers like that just start popping up out of nowhere. They ain't just popped up. This shit been going on since day one. You understand? It's the illusion. See, today now, that shit is more visual. It's more visual than it's ever been. You see what I'm saying? It's more visual than it's ever been. And so, but it's always been, these sick-minded individuals, even, the lynchers and, and all of that, and even on their own people and shit. So, across the board, it's always been these sick minds that, when you put a sick mind with a military and, you know what I'm saying, and all type of weapons of mass destruction, this is where the world is at. You see, this is where the world is at. And so this is when people talk about, these so-called powers, you see, and in all the advancement, I don't see no advancement in none of this shit. when you think of the eras of the world, where especially back in the ancient times where, the Kushites was in power, you seen civilization popping up all over the planet. You didn't see no people's crying about oppression and all of this. No, that's garbage. You seen civilizations all over the world. You see megalithic buildings and spiritual centers popping up all over the world. So when you look at the Caucasoid, the Cro-Magnon, you understand rule on the planet, and the Chinese too. The Chinese too. Even when you think about Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun and all of that Mongoloid aggression on the world to come across the world, and you see, and to conquer that which does not belong to them. You see, and you see that this is prevalent amongst those people. So when you think about the Chinese, I don't see them nonetheless. They in Africa right now, and they treat, and I don't want nobody to tell me no better or nothing different. You see what I'm saying? Don't tell me nothing different. That the Chinese and the Russian and the United States and the Britain, they all one and the same. It ain't nan one, and we need to get out of that savior mentality that anybody coming to save us but us. And we need to stay out of this shit in Africa. You understand what I'm saying? For you bring even greater demise on Africa, by making Africa a target. You see why you ally amongst these den of thieves. You see, these are a den of thieves, and you understand what I'm saying? Nothing but oppressors, and they fighting over the world. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't have, and you is just a asset that each one of these nations are aiming to be in control of. They want the resources, and they don't, and they don't envision African people. You see, they don't envision African people telling them no about them resources. They need them resources. China can't feed itself. That's why it's in Africa. China, a goddamn mountain range. You see, and they got all them, 2 billion, but they on their way out. Yeah, they on their way out. They population, even though they got a high number, it's gonna start decreasing. You see, it's gonna start decreasing real soon. They race is is getting older and older. They right there with the European. You see what I'm saying? I want to, give a shout out to that brother baptism in the ism. That's right. Shout out to that brother, man. Appreciate you. You see, appreciate your family. You see, and so they ass is on their way out too. You see, but we have to see that what's going on over there. You know what I'm saying? And you can't expect that it ain't gonna come to a head. You see, at some point in time, it's gonna come to a head. You see, you think about all the bases and that the United States got over there. You see, let me see where I got my. And the fact that the United States does not too long ago, let me get that in there. They supposedly setting up some more bases in the Philippines. But when you think about the US is over there surrounding them. They over there on China. You see a lot of people thinking that that it's really as I see it, as I see it, they over there putting the full court press on them people. China, Russia. You see, when you look at it, and a lot of people, you got to, when a motherfucker outside your house, nigga, and and people, I don't know what people see. A lot of people see China as, and I do see them, as a potent adversary. I do. You see, But at the same time, like shit, the United States is already over there in their doorway. You see what I'm saying? With guns loaded and cocked. You see, you don't see that. You don't see no motherfucker. If China or Russia tried to do some shit like that on the U.S., let me tell you something. They'll ride on their ass. You see, we just saying what it is, nah. You see, y'all motherfuckers got to be, you know what I'm saying? You know, because when you the beast, you got to act like the beast. You understand what I'm saying? Don't think that, you know what I'm saying? If you at the top, there's only one way for you to place for you, it is down. You gonna, you know, that's the only place for you to go is down. You see, and you know, if you've been on the top long enough, that means you done stepped on a lot of backs. You see, you done stepped on a lot of heads, nigga. And so, you know, when you come down, motherfuckers ain't gonna be, you understand, they ain't gonna be compromising. They ain't gonna be benevolent. You see, and so you expect when you know, if somebody else was to come upon you, you know, into the number one spot, what that gonna look like? You see, you understand, you know, and so motherfuckers on top, they want to stay on top because they fear retribution. You see, that's anybody. They fear retribution. They fear the motherfuckers who neck that they didn't crack and, you know, would want to do the same to them. And so I do not believe that the U.S., you know, and I believe that they are prepared to go to whatever length they have to go to remain in power. And when I say in power, I mean, you know, as a very deadly adversary to any other nation on a planet, deadly enough to bring and wreak nothing but destruction on them. You see, and you know, and a lot of people, you start talking about Russia and China. I do believe that the United States is ready to is prepared to fire on their ass first. Anyway, I mean, when you look at how they, you know, surrounding the motherfucker like that. Imagine, you know, have you seen any motherfucking bases and shit surrounding the United States like that? So that right there is a very visible military advantage to be on a motherfucker doorstep like that. You see, now they could fire off. Yeah, they can, but could they fire off and then you that close to a motherfuckers? Beijing ain't that far. You see, Beijing ain't that far. You see, even when you was talking about North Korea ain't that far. You know, and so those are adversaries that's over in their part of the world. And so even if they did hit them, you see, I mean, you know, they could very well serve their purpose before any type of, you know, man. And then they got the missile defense systems over there too. You know, they got missile defense systems over there. You know, but you know, could the Chinese come across that water? No, they couldn't come. They wouldn't make it. You see what I'm saying? Because what kind of and you got a motherfucker right there in your doorstep. It's hard for a motherfucker to think about. You would have to deal with the shit that's surrounding you. You see, and then you got to understand that you expecting that the U.S. is already expecting war, so they fucking is stacking up over there. You know what I'm saying? They easing that shit in there, slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? They've been, stacking up and stockpiling that shit up over there. Slowly but surely. And so, you would think that, by the end of the year, you know what I'm saying? Just think if they do a comparison where the U.S. was 2 years from now to probably where it is at the end of this year, you see, and all the shit that they steady moving in, slowly but surely, every time they come back to the U.S., they fill up, they come back, and you know what I'm saying? And so believe it, that they are stockpiling up. You know what I'm saying? To be able to keep that over there, as much of it as possible right there at their front door. You see what I'm saying? And keep the pressure on them. And so as I see it, right there, that's a hell of a military advantage. Motherfuckers can say what they want to. You see, even fucking Russia. You see, even Russia. So really, they got their ass surrounded. Now, whether they are going to be successful in their endeavors, that's another thing. But looking at, Ukraine and shit, and that's a test run for them. Don't think that it's not. You see, they test running that shit over there. That's a test run. You see, to see, and to put certain systems into combat to see how that shit work in combat. And see, that's where China and Russia, another thing, they, United States been in open combat for so many goddamn years. Anything that they create, they having so many wars and shit where they put that shit into combat. You see what I'm saying? And see how that shit operate. See, so when you start looking at China, you start looking at Russia, that's like looking at a motherfucker on the punching bag, and motherfucker just cold with it. Hitting the punching bag and shit, and you know what I'm saying? You look at that motherfucker, you say, damn, that motherfucker nice. You see, this motherfucker nice on the fucking punching bag. But then when that motherfucker get in the ring, the motherfucker get knocked out. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these systems, that you see the planes and shit, they haven't been put in any type of confrontational, situation to show and prove how it'll operate, and how successful it'll be under fire. And so when you start looking at China and Russia again, you know what I'm saying? And so motherfuckers, they really, in the end, they'll try. They'll try, but I just they fucking with one that is that's all they do. You see what I'm saying? That's all they do. And so again, when you look at Russia, see Russia talk that shit, and then they went in, and they bombing. Yes, they are bombing. But the thing is, see, in the art of war. See, and this is even when you dealing with, you supposedly the epitome or the epitome of war is to take the nation intact. You see, if you can beat a motherfucker in the mind, you see, if you can beat them there, you see, before you even put your soldiers out there, you understand what I'm saying? You can't win, motherfucker. You got to get it there. If you could beat a motherfucker with psychological warfare, that's the apex of warfare. You understand? To take the shit intact, And so when you see Russia, they again barbaric and bomb everything, destroy everything. The reality is, if they could have took it with the soldiers, they would have did it that way. You see, they was hoping maybe that the Ukrainians would see them as liberators and shit, and they did not see them as liberators. And United States and the West providing them with, military assistance, have tech, and plus, we not stupid. They've been preparing this shit for a far long time. You see, they have been training them Ukrainian soldiers over there for a while now. They didn't just, you know what I'm saying? So reality was they knew that confrontation between Russia and Ukraine was going to happen. They knew that. Okay, they knew that. And so that's why they was training them Ukrainians soldiers. You see what I'm saying? And so, it shows, that, it is for me. I'm on the outside looking in that Russia, as far as, military, maybe on the nuclear shit, that's, being able to launch bombs and shit, they have that. But to come on the ground and really think, engage Russia can't fuck with the U.S. They can't. Motherfuckers got to be real about that. You see what I'm saying? Motherfuckers can't, and that's not to, it's to look at shit for what it is. You see, that just like you don't underestimate your motherfucker and you don't overestimate him. You see what I'm saying? You give a motherfucker they do, because if you have to deal with it, you want to know, you understand the actuality of the fucking predicament you in. You don't want to say, oh, this motherfucker, get motherfucker whoop your ass. Motherfucker put it on your ass because you underestimating your fucking opponent. You just get a motherfucker his proper. Whatever his capability, because that's what you're going to have to address. And not addressing it or masking it over and saying, oh, he can't. No, motherfucker, he can. And you better prepare for that. He can. You see what I'm saying? You better prepare for that, because he done proven that he can. You see, and he's proven to the Russian that, that, look, your shit old, man. You old. Your shit old. You got a few little systems over there, but pound for pound, we got you. See, and we've been spending, you understand, $700-800 billion every year. We're gonna show you what the fuck we were spending it on. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And so, this is the reality of it. You see, and I see right now, and I'm about to move, you can see China has offered, a peace plan. And you know what that is? Let me tell you what that is. Russia is knowing that they're gonna be in. They done been in quagmires before, like in Afghanistan. And are they willing to stay in this shit economy? And then you got to see that the fucking economies all over the world. You see, they got the economies all over the world is feeling this shit. So the world is like in China. You see, China, is looked at as possibly becoming the great economy of the world, but they know that that's only gonna happen in a world where these types of wars is not going on. If they battling with the U.S. and United States want to put sanctions on their ass, you see, United States is the number one economic partner with China. And so when they see this future, you see what China is the largest. Yes, it's engaged in the U.S. They're not going to get there fucking with Russia. Russia ain't got that type of economy. They ain't got that kind of economy. Ain't nobody buying all that shit from China like the United States. They flooding that shit into United States. The Europeans ain't buying that shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Other peoples around the world, they have not replaced their manufacturing like the U.S. didn't fucking, they don't want to pay a motherfucker $15, $20, $25, $30 an hour. They're going to go over there and let them Chinese, pay their people whatever few cents and make that shit and then ship it over here. And, that's the slave mentality. You understand? United States got rich. You understand, working the slaves for nothing, getting damn near 100% profit. You understand what I'm saying? Throw them some slop out there, keep a little hut or a little slave quarter out there for them. You see what I'm saying? That's about it. And get almost 100% profit off of their slaves. You see? And that's what they know. And so, they know China is in the same, they doing the same shit. These niggas that making these gym shoes, yeah, they make that shit over there for 15 cents, 50 cents, $1. You see what I'm saying? Ship it over here, sell it for $150. See, that's how you do that. And so they understand United States and China got a good thing going. So because they know that they could work their people for little or nothing. You see what I'm saying? And you understand, bring it over to the U.S. and fucking make and mark that shit up 300-400 goddamn percent. That's what they're doing. And so China understands that, the greatness of their future that they see is in partnership with the U.S. because nobody else is doing it like that. Russia is not going to disenfranchise their people for the Chinese. They're not. The Europeans are not going to disenfranchise their people for the Chinese, and where they are just, destroy all manufacturing. And neither is these damn Indians over here, Mexicans or whatever, Hispanic motherfuckers. They not going to disenfranchise their people for the Chinese neither. You see, we're not like the U.S. U.S. look at blacks and whatever in here as disposable. You see, and so China is looking at Russia like, come on now, you're gonna have to bring this shit to a finale. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have to bring it to a finale because you fucking it up for everybody. You see what I'm saying? You fucking it up for everybody. So what? To end what Vladimir Putin is, to save face, because if he up and do it on his own, you see what I'm saying? It would look like he's throwing in the towel. But if China come up and say, you know what, I got a plan for y'all. You see, it'll take the pressure off of Vladimir Putin for taking that L. You understand? When he don't have to openly take an L. He can say, well, all the other nations feel that, it's time, and we can work through this. And that'll take the L off of his, the open L off of his ass, and he could work through that. And so that's what China is doing right now at this time. And so, family, keep your eyes open. You understand what I'm saying? And understand that, again, they set shit up and you don't know. But I tell you what, you have to prepare for any possibility. You see, you don't go, if this happened, what would you do? If this happened, what would you do? But you have to prepare for all possibilities, and you cannot rule out any possibility. You make it, especially if it's a viable option. You see, and it come up, and you see a lot of people even speak about it. It's a viable option, and you better think about it and ask yourself, what would you do? You understand what I'm saying? What would you do? You see, if they step to your crew, nigga. You see, all right, family, we got a quadruple header up here. I'm gonna be dealing with next up. I want to deal with this subject, Kevin Hart. You understand? I didn't, respond to it, at first, because I wanted to see what kind of smoke was gonna be brought. You know what I'm saying? When, Kevin Hart said that, the ancient Egyptians was black. These pseudo modern Egyptians, had they didn't cancel the old Kevin Hart for saying that. And I'm gonna even deal with Zahid Hawass later on. And I've been asking Zahid to let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? He said he would debate Kevin Hart. That's gonna be my third video. And I'm, Zahid Hawass, don't be a coward. Quit running. You know what I'm saying? No, don't debate Kevin Hart. Come get with the general. I want all the smoke. And I'm gonna start trolling his ass so we can get this on, Zahid. You know what I'm saying? All right, family. This is the general saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.